One of my viewers recently came to me and told me about one of the most disturbing rabbit holes that I have ever heard of. And honestly, it's what I would again describe as a public predator ring. X, formerly known as Twitter, is a platform that has been getting a lot of backlash over the last year or so since its massive fall from grace. Don't get me wrong, Twitter was never really an amazing place, but since Elon Musk took the helm, the existing problems have been getting 10 times worse. And one of those problems is child predators. Predators have existed on the platform for a while now. A few years back, I made a video on one of the more prominent rabbit holes at the time that's now been shut down, and as recently as a few weeks ago, I covered a rabbit hole on the platform that is still ongoing. It seems like when one gets discovered, another one will pop right up. And although it seems like it will continue that way, that doesn't mean we shouldn't raise awareness. NSFW Twitter is a big part of the platform, and it always has been. It has been the go-to place to get adult content for a lot of people, and that's still the case today. But back in the day, there was a much more disturbing side to that side of the platform that you could find by just adding one singular additional letter. And that letter was M, which stood for minor. NSFW Twitter was a whole rabbit hole in and of itself because it had minors publicly interacting with each other in very inappropriate ways. Also, just for clarity, I'm going to be referring to it as M Twitter from now on because saying MNSFW is a tongue twister and a half. But it was a huge problem, and it took almost a year for it to be properly solved. And both sides of the platform hated each other for understandable reasons because obviously NSFW Twitter people don't want minors interacting with them, and surprisingly a lot of the people on M Twitter didn't want the adults interacting with them. And some of the inappropriate content that was being posted by the minors was also being pushed to regular users' For You pages. And this was way before Twitter had a feature to blur your image if it was inappropriate, so they were just seeing potentially illegal content being pushed directly to their home feed. But alas, it was eventually taken down and the hashtag was nullified. But sadly, another, more disturbing one quickly popped up. Map Twitter and AAM Twitter existed for far longer than M Twitter, and it may have even existed at the same time. And while a lot of M Twitter users only tried to interact with other people their age, people from Map Twitter and AAM Twitter were actively seeking each other out. Predators were seeking out prey, and minors were seeking out adults. It was a disturbing combination, and all it took to find was one search. And this introduced the concept of sellers to a lot of people. Sellers on this side of the platform were people, often not of a legal age, who would sell pictures of their body to, a lot of the time, creepy adults. Of course, this is creation and distribution of CSAM, and it seemed as though nothing was being done. If you reported an account, it wasn't as if they would get an IP ban or a device ban. It seemed as though the most they would get is a warning, and they could just go on and create another account. For more serious offences, Twitter does have a thing where they claim that you can't create another account, but it's been proven time and time again that that is simply a lie because they do. But eventually the hashtags were shut down, and you'd think that would have been the end of the problem, right? Sadly, you would be wrong, because more hashtags would be created, and this time they would be far more obscure. When all this started, they really weren't trying to hide it, because it's almost as if they were sending out a call to the entire platform saying, hey, if you're into this, come here, come to this side of the platform, you can get this illegal content. But it eventually got to the point where they started to realise we can't go on like this because we will just keep getting our accounts banned. And so they started to use hashtags that were simply colours or objects. Hashtags where if you saw them while you were scrolling on your feed, you would think, oh well, there can't be anything going on there. In fact, you would probably think that is just boring content that you would never want to look at anyway, and that's the exact reaction that they were bargaining on. Because the more people who are oblivious to this, the more it can fly under the radar. And let's just be fully clear that content like this is not only illegal, but fully disallowed through X's terms of service. And I would say apparently not allowed, because although they can say that they don't want it, action speaks louder than words, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of action. X says that they have zero tolerance for any content that promotes or features CSE. They claim to have strengthened their enforcement, but that isn't backed up by the actions that they have taken over the last few years. In November 2022, Musk claimed that one of his #1 goals for the platform was removing content that featured CSA, but when he gutted Twitter's headquarters of its staff, he reportedly only left one member dedicated on that team to take down that content. And with over 600 million monthly users, I don't think I need to explain why that is a problem. And he would continue to go back in his promise, as in 2023, the platform unbanned a right-wing influencer who broke their CSAM rules. The influencer claimed that he was suspended for his political messaging, and Musk responded to the claim, saying that he was actually removed for breaking this certain rule, and that only the CSE team had seen the content. He said he would delete the post and reinstate the account, and that he did. But that was no use, because by that point, the tweet in question had over 8,000 retweets and over 3 million views. And neither Musk or the platform itself would comment when asked about media outlets on the unsuspension of the account. And I'm not trying to make this into some sort of political debate, because no matter what you are, left, right or centre, CSAM content shouldn't stand, and if you're caught breaking those rules, then your account certainly shouldn't stand. So this has been a huge problem for years, and no matter what the owner of the platform claims to be doing to stop it, it clearly isn't working. They claim that they want to make their platform inhospitable to people who exploit minors, but even to this day, it continues to be an issue. I did a deep dive into this side of the platform to find out just how widespread this issue is, and these are my findings. To clarify, I saw nothing bad nor illegal, and I had an extension installed in my browser that removed every picture and video from every website. Everything has been reported, and I will include links in the description to where you can report this stuff if you come across it. But with that being said, I do not encourage you to seek any of this out. Also, for the sake of this video staying on the platform, this next section has been heavily edited, so if YouTube are watching, this video has been carefully edited to make sure that it follows all of YouTube's community guidelines. Now, let's get into the deep dive. Okay, so one of the first big hashtags that properly, people became made aware of was one called Groom Twitter. If we search that up now, thankfully it's gone. You'll be met with a page that says something went wrong, try reloading. But what Twitter seemed to never do, and what to me seems like the obvious option, is thinking of different combinations of that hashtag. So for example, how they've managed to get around it in this case is simply by replacing the 2 O's with zeros, and lo and behold, boom, you have access to all of that content yet again. And you can immediately see how widespread this issue is because of the sheer amount of tweets under this. Admittedly, on this version of the hashtag, it is people just bullying people who are on this side. But there are also some genuine people, like this person here who claims to be soon to be. They say that they have no DNIs, which stands for do not interact, and they also tag their tweet with hashtag groom Twitter and hashtag groomer Twitter. And again, if we click on this will lead us further down the rabbit hole. We've got this very disturbing user here who pops up on quite a lot of the hashtags. In his bio, he has 98, so he was born in 1998, and he's from the EU. He says to DM him, and his account has been up for 4 months. He's made multiple posts such as that one may not seem like the weirdest or the most disturbing, but literally right under it, and he's tagged it with groomer Twitter and groom me Twitter. He's also said, now this is something that was spoken about throughout these videos. When people refer to someone as a low level, they are meaning that they are underage. People try to get around bans by disguising their age as levels. So if someone says they're, level or level, you'll know that they're actually saying that they're that years old. And through his tweets, we can find more disturbing hashtags, such as hashtag sweet candy Twitter. Now, this is kind of what I touched on earlier in the video, where someone will use, you know, objects or colours or random words, ones that wouldn't seem disturbing on the surface to hide their illegal activity. We can click on it here and you can see it's a whole rabbit hole. The first person who pops up under the hashtag, if we click in their profile, we can see that they have in their location, and they're also linking to their Telegram and their Discord. And again, this is the problem of cross-platform collaboration, because even if their Twitter's banned, people can still get in touch with them via Telegram or via Discord. Now, this is another person who links a Telegram in their bio, and they make sure to specifically say in their location that they are 18. Now, that might seem legit, right? But this is another thing that these people tend to do. Blatantly lie about their age. But there will always be a telltale somewhere on their profile that they're actually not that age. Like this person here has said that their new Telegram channel is up. They say it's their main channel since theirs got closed, and they also make sure to clarify, make sure to add their Telegram as a contact so you never lose touch. And this is a problem I'm talking about, because 115,000 people have seen this tweet. And 300 people have liked it. So even if not all of these 115,000 people are predators, at least 300 of them have interacted, probably added this person on Telegram, so even if we do report their account and get it taken down, then they can just continue on as if nothing happened. And the red flag on this profile for them actually being underage is simply the hashtags used. They've also hashtagged it with Pink Mirror Twitter, which is one that's been around for a while. If we go to the People tab here, we can see just how extreme this is. How many people there are. Got someone saying they take Venmo. Another person linking their Telegram and saying that they only take Cash App. A person putting the age 18 in quotation marks, blatantly indicating that they are not that age. And more private accounts like this one that pops up. This person links a main account in their bio, and clicking on it you can see that it's suspended because it violates the rules, but this is a problem. This guy can just go and create another account. In fact, they've had 2 accounts suspended, both their main and their alt, yet just because their other account is private, they can just go on. Now, this is another person. They say that they made their account in 2023, but disturbingly, they have their born age as 2007. So if they were born in 2007 and they made their account in 2023, you can put the pieces together. They say 18 MDNI. I don't even believe that they are 18, especially because it's clear they've been doing this before they turned 18 anyway. But we can see they're again, you know, making disturbing tags, and they've linked their Telegram. They even have what they've tagged as previews, so this is what I can only imagine is literal illegal material out here on Twitter. And again, they link out to a Dropbox for even more proof that they actually are real. And all these people have menus. It's basically like predators are walking in to a restaurant where they can get all the illegal material they want without any risk of being banned, because people can just make another account. Twitter claim that they report people to the NCMEC, but the real question is, how many of their reports are actually dealt with? And surely everyone who breaks these rules should be reported to that agency, no? It feels like for this in particular, you really can't pick and choose. And this person has 31 followers, and if we go into their followers, this is again how you fall down the rabbit hole. Like, let's take a random person from their followers list, for example. So this person, their name is @newtobuying. If we click on their account, they follow 27 people, and their first retweet is a person who is using the hashtags that are associated with minors who are going after predators. Sorry, I worded that very weird. That makes it sound as if the predators are prey. Minors certainly the prey. What I mean is, he's liking tweets of minors blatantly advertising themselves to predators, and this guy is likely over the age of 18, a predator who's looking to take advantage of them. If we go into his following, you can see just how many people are under the age of 18 here. Like, we've got this person who has no mention of their age on their profile at all. In fact, they say in their bio, ask for age. They made their account this month, but they already have 53 followers. And they even say in one of their tweets that this is the 3rd time that they've been suspended while linking their Telegram. And here we go, this person is saying MDNI, but check location. You know, being very subtle with it, obviously. In their location, it says they are well below 18. Really, really below 18. And listen, some people have came to me, if you're watching this video, thank you if you are one of the people who have shared your story with me, but people have come to me to tell me their experiences on the platform. And as much as I would like to believe that this person isn't the actual underage they say they are, I believe they are. Because the people who have come to me have told me they were on the platform when they were that age themselves. So I got a few comments in my last video saying what if these are like, you know, fed traps or stuff like that, or predators running the accounts themselves. As much as that would be more positive than minors actively putting themselves out there, advertising themselves to predators, it's likely that these are actually minors. And that's probably the worst outcome of this entire situation. And look how many likes these tweets are getting. You know, for disturbing tweets like this to be getting 30, 20 likes, it's crazy. And obviously that's not a lot in the long run of Twitter, but for disturbing content like this, it certainly is. Yet another disturbing Twitter rabbit hole that was all found from one search. So where do we go from here? As you saw, this is claiming victims. And one viewer who managed to escape from this side of the platform has allowed me to share their story. It goes without saying, but they will be kept fully anonymous, and if you are watching this, thank you very much. When they were younger, they experienced intense trauma during their developing years, and they also had access to an unrestricted internet. I don't need to explain to you why this is unsafe for young people, but by the age of they had joined Twitter. Originally, they were on a different side of the platform, but they started to get interactions from people who were on the side of the platform that we've spoken about today. And because they were feeling lonely and detached from reality at the time, they decided to engage back. They didn't fully understand the right and wrongs in age gap relationships at the time, so they didn't really understand just how wrong this was. They started to interact with people and quickly fell down the rabbit hole. Before they knew it, people had indecent images of them, and they would try to make the victim feel better by saying things like, oh, this isn't as bad as you think it is, or this isn't really as wrong as people say. But that almost had the opposite effect. Although they never technically joined it and just had interactions, they did eventually realise just how messed up it was. They decided to speak out and managed to escape it before it was too late, and they were dragged down the rabbit hole for good. They also spoke a bit to me about how sites like this can be attached to other sides of the platform, like Twitter. Some people who are looking for minors can ask for cut signs, which essentially involves a minor something into their skin, taking a picture of it, so the predator can then make it their profile picture or banner. It's almost as if harming yourself is sexualized, which can already be a problem when it involves two consenting adults, but when it involves minors, it's a whole different story. Like I mentioned before, links to report all of this stuff will be in the description, but please do not go seeking any of it out. Platforms really need to do more, but it isn't your responsibility to traumatize yourself in order to force that change. So many platforms are connected in this that it can seem almost impossible to stop, but I feel like by bringing awareness, we can take that first step. Telegram is one of the worst platforms for this, and it seems that no matter where AAMs and predators make their first home, Telegram will always be their next step, because it allows them to trade any sort of content they want without any risk of consequences. And everything we've spoken about today is exactly how strangers operate online. I know back in my day I was taught predator, stranger, danger through low quality PSAs that were shown in high school, but times are different. I feel like the only way to truly solve this issue is by getting not only kids and parents talking, but also schools. We need to encourage open conversations about the genuine risks of social media, because if we don't, and if we take too long, then the manipulation tactics that are deployed by predators could have already taken their toll on our loved ones. Thankfully, Twitter claimed to be working with the NCMEC nowadays, and more platforms need to follow suit. Telegram need to do this especially because they have refused to in the past, and if you want to know a bit about that aspect of it, then I have a video covering that which you can check out after this. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is a big cross-platform collaboration between predators, so if they can all be connected through some sort of safety net like the NCMEC, then real change can start to happen. And just a reminder that if you've been through any of this, then please take care of yourself. Stuff like this can take a toll whether you've experienced it firsthand or seen it from the outside. Your experience is valid, and this is a disturbing topic to talk about. But just remember that myself and the many others watching this video always have your back, and support will always be available. So let's do the right thing. Report this if you come across it, but spread awareness of the things that you've learned today. day, because without knowledge, this will continue. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share the video, do all of that good stuff. If you did learn something today, it really helps the channel and allows me to keep doing things like this. And check out my social media, I have Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram. And thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members, Brooke, Entreprenaut, Morrigan, K4 Silver, Alex Rod, Based Finger, Carmella, Tango Slime, Shoshka, Frozen Roses, and Nisha Coles. I'll be back next week with another video, but if you want to watch another right now, then YouTube thinks you'll like the video that's on your screen.